Have you ever wondered what drives people to accomplish extraordinary feats? It's a question that has intrigued philosophers, psychologists, and curious minds alike for centuries. What fuels the fire within us to go beyond the ordinary, to reach for the stars, to push the boundaries of what's possible? The answer, more often than not, lies in the power of motivation and inspiration. Think about it. Every great adventure, every groundbreaking discovery, every masterpiece ever created started with a question that sparked curiosity, that ignited a desire for exploration, for understanding, for creation. That's the power of a question. It's the catalyst that sets in motion the wheels of change, of progress, of growth. But where does this motivation and inspiration come from? Is it something innate, something we're born with, or is it something we acquire, something we learn? The answer, as you might expect, is not as straightforward as we'd like it to be. You see, motivation and inspiration are like two sides of the same coin. On one side, there's intrinsic motivation, the kind that comes from within, driven by our personal interests and values. On the other side, there's extrinsic motivation, the kind that comes from outside, driven by rewards or the avoidance of punishment. Inspiration, on the other hand, is a bit more elusive. It's like a spark that lights up in the dark. A sudden flash of insight, a moment of clarity. It can come from anywhere, from a beautiful piece of art, a stirring piece of music, a profound piece of literature, or even a simple act of kindness. The power of a question, therefore, is not just about sparking curiosity, but about igniting that spark of motivation and inspiration within us. It's about challenging our assumptions, pushing our boundaries, and driving us to explore, to learn, to create, to achieve. So, next time you find yourself wondering about the mysteries of the universe, about the complexities of life, about the possibilities of the future, remember this. The truth is, every great endeavor begins with a spark of motivation and inspiration. But what exactly fuels this fire of motivation and inspiration? Let's delve a little deeper and unearth the sources that ignite this spark. The first source we must consider is personal goals. Picture an athlete, for instance, training for the Olympics. Their goal isn't merely to participate, but to stand on that prestigious podium, a gold medal gleaming around their neck. Every bead of sweat, every grueling hour spent in training, is fueled by this vision. Their motivation is derived from a tangible objective, a personal goal. But motivations aren't always personal. They can often be shaped by societal expectations and pressures. Consider a young student, burning the midnight oil trying to ace an exam. The motivation here isn't just personal achievement, but also the expectations of their parents, their teachers, and the society that surrounds them. This societal pressure acts as a powerful motivator that drives them to push their limits. Finally, there's the internal desire for growth. This is perhaps the most potent source of motivation and inspiration as it comes from within. Take, for instance, a scientist working on groundbreaking research. The thrill of discovery, the push to expand human knowledge, and the drive to contribute to the world are all internal desires that fuel their motivation. They aren't driven by external rewards or recognition, but by the sheer joy of learning and growing. Sometimes these sources of motivation can overlap. A scientist might also have personal goals, or an athlete could be motivated by societal pressure. It's the interplay of these factors that keeps the wheels of motivation turning. In essence, our motivations and inspirations come from our deepest desires and the goals we set for ourselves. They are rooted in our dreams, our ambitions, our fears, and our aspirations. They are the fuel that keeps us moving forward, pushing us to overcome challenges and achieve greatness. They are the fire that burns within us, lighting our way and warming our spirits. So let's keep this fire burning, and remember, in essence, our motivations and inspirations come from our deepest desires and the goals we set for ourselves. Do you ever consider how your actions can influence others? Imagine a pebble tossed into a serene pond. The moment it breaks the surface, it creates a series of ripples. Each ripple, though smaller than the one before, carries the energy of that initial splash, spreading it outward. This, in essence, is the ripple effect. Now let's apply this concept to our daily lives. Every action we take, every word we utter, every decision we make, they're all like pebbles tossed into the pond of our existence. They create ripples that extend far beyond our immediate surroundings, potentially influencing others in ways we may never fully comprehend. Take, for instance, the story of a dedicated teacher. Day in and day out, she pours her heart into her lessons, striving to instill not just knowledge, but also a love for learning in her students. One of her students, inspired by her passion, decides to become a teacher himself. He carries forward her teachings, her enthusiasm, and her love for education, thereby extending the ripple of influence she created. Or consider a young athlete who's constantly pushing his limits to improve his game. He looks up to a professional player, someone who's achieved great heights in the sport. The dedication, discipline, and resilience the pro player demonstrates inspire the young athlete to strive harder, to dream bigger. The pro player, in this case, has thrown a pebble into the pond of the young athlete's life, creating ripples that drive him to reach new heights. So, you see, the ripple effect is all around us. It's in the way we inspire and motivate others through our actions, our words, and our decisions. It's in the way we take our own motivations and inspirations and pass them on to those around us, creating a continuous cycle of positive influence. But remember, the ripple effect isn't just about the big life-changing moments. It's also about the small, everyday interactions. A smile, a kind word, a helping hand. These too can create ripples that change lives in subtle yet profound ways. Our actions, driven by our own motivations and inspirations, can indeed inspire and motivate those around us. What if you could harness this power of motivation and inspiration? Now, that's a question that could change your life. Imagine the possibilities if you could tap into the boundless energy that comes with genuine inspiration, or the drive that stirs within you when you're truly motivated. The good news is, it's entirely possible to harness these forces. And it starts with setting clear goals. Goals give you a roadmap to success. They help you focus your energy and efforts in a specific direction. But remember, your goals should be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When you set such goals, you create a pathway for your motivation and inspiration to flow. Next, surround yourself with positive influences. They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So make sure those 5 people are ones who uplift you, challenge you, and inspire you. Positive influences can act like a catalyst, sparking motivation and inspiration even in the most challenging times. And finally, adopt a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that you can develop your abilities through dedication and hard work. When you have a growth mindset, you view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than obstacles. This mindset fuels motivation and inspiration, as it encourages you to constantly push your boundaries and strive for better. But harnessing the power of motivation and inspiration isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous process. It's about making conscious choices each day to set clear goals, surround yourself with positivity, and maintain a growth mindset. It's about choosing to see challenges as opportunities and treating failures as lessons, not setbacks. And as you start to harness this power, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel more energized, more driven, and more inspired. You'll find yourself achieving things you once thought were impossible. And most importantly, you'll realize that the power to change your life was within you all along. With the right methods, you can effectively harness your motivation and inspiration to achieve your goals. And remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, so take that step today. What happens when our motivation wanes and inspiration seems elusive? We've all been there, haven't we? We're cruising along on our journey of self-improvement and suddenly we hit a wall. This wall is what I like to call the roadblocks. These are the obstacles that test our resolve, the moments when our motivation dwindles, and inspiration feels like a distant memory. One common roadblock is burnout. It's that feeling of exhaustion, both mental and physical, that comes from pushing too hard for too long. It's like running a marathon without taking a break. So how do we combat it? The answer is simple. We rest, we recharge. We take time for ourselves to rejuvenate and regain our strength. Remember, even the mightiest warriors need their rest. Another roadblock is the lack of progress. It's disheartening when we pour our heart and soul into something and see little to no results. But let's shift our perspective. Instead of focusing on the big picture, let's celebrate the small wins. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. It's a testament to your perseverance and dedication. So, celebrate it, cherish it, let it fuel your motivation. Lastly, we have negative influences. These are the doubters, the naysayers, those who try to dim our light. They can be external, like a pessimistic friend, or internal, like self-doubt. But here's the thing, we have the power to choose who and what influences us. Surround yourself with positivity. Seek out individuals who uplift you, inspire you, and believe in you. And most importantly, believe in yourself. And remember, these roadblocks are not the end, but merely bumps in the road. They are opportunities for growth, for learning, for becoming stronger. They test our resolve, but they also reveal our true strength. No matter the roadblocks, remember that the power to reignite your motivation and inspiration lies within you. Can you imagine a world where everyone is deeply motivated and inspired? A world where the wellsprings of motivation and inspiration are not only tapped, but gushing forth with a force that's invincible and contagious. This is not a utopian dream, it's a potential reality. In this world, each person is a powerhouse of energy and creativity. Every single day, individuals would spring out of bed driven by a purpose that ignites their spirit and fuels their actions. Workplaces would be buzzing hubs of innovation and productivity, where everyone is engaged, contributing their unique skills and talents towards a shared vision. The best part? This is not just about work. This radiates into every aspect of life. Imagine neighborhoods, communities, and societies pulsating with this vibrant energy. Schools where students are not just learning, but are in love with the process of discovery. They're not studying for grades, but for the sheer joy of gaining knowledge and understanding the world around them. In this world, innovation is not a buzzword, but a way of life. Every problem is seen as a challenge, an opportunity to think outside the box, to create something new, something better. This is a world where failure is not feared, but embraced as a stepping stone towards success. Now think of the happiness quotient in such a world. When people are motivated, when they are driven by a purpose, they are happier. They find joy in the journey, not just the destination. They celebrate every small win, every step forward. They are content, yet they never stop striving for more. In such a world, the human spirit thrives. It's a world where dreams are not just dreamt but are pursued with a fervor that's infectious. It's a world where the impossible becomes possible, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Such a world is indeed possible if we all tap into our own sources of motivation and inspiration. It's a world that begins with you and me right here, right now. Are you ready to step into this world? Because it's waiting and it's more than ready for you. Remember, the power of motivation and inspiration lies within you. It's not something external, not something you can buy or borrow. It's a force that resides in the depths of your spirit, waiting to be tapped into, ready to propel you to heights you never thought possible. Let's take a moment to reflect on our journey thus far. We began by exploring the power of a question, the simple act of asking why. It's a tool that we often overlook, yet it's one that can lead us to the source of our motivation, to the core of our inspiration. It's a question that can unearth the fire within us, the spark that drives us to strive, to create, to achieve. We then delved into the source of our inspiration and motivation. It's not something that's handed to us on a silver platter. It's something that we discover, something that we unearth. It's a journey of self-discovery, a journey that takes us to the depths of our souls. It's a journey that reveals our strengths, our passions, our dreams. We looked at the ripple effect, at how our motivation and inspiration can impact the world around us. Just as a single stone can create ripples in a pond, our actions, driven by our motivation and inspiration, can create waves of change. They can inspire others to follow in our footsteps, to chase their dreams, to make their mark. Harnessing the power of motivation and inspiration is not a one-time act. It's a continuous process, a lifelong journey. It's about nurturing that fire within us, about stoking it, about keeping it alive. It's about turning that spark into a flame that lights our path, a flame that guides us towards our goals. Of course, the road to success is not always smooth. There are roadblocks, there are challenges, but remember, these are not meant to deter us, they're meant to strengthen us. They're not obstacles, they're stepping stones. They're opportunities for us to grow, to learn, to evolve. And finally, we touched upon the world of inspiration. It's a world that's rich and diverse, a world that's full of possibilities. It's a world that's waiting for us to explore, to discover, to conquer. It's a world that's waiting for us to leave our mark, to make a difference, to inspire. Harness your motivation, fuel your inspiration, and watch as you spark the same in others. The power indeed lies within you.